Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Bitcoin Trade. Um, this is now this is Bitstamp because it's the highest index right now, as you see, following by BitC and then Mt. Gox. Okay, so this is Bitstamp here, and what I'm looking at is basically a 2-hour period in which I drew this line here, and if you see it, it's coming to a very long downtrend here. So maybe the reason is, if you already haven't noticed, but Bitcoin withdrawals are also halted over at Bitstamp as well. So here's what you got. You got this long downtrend here. Basically, until it breaks out of this trend, it's pretty much downtrending, and also this is BitC, and it's also downtrending. Same thing. So they're doing pretty much the same thing. The angle, the degree of which is downtrending is about the same. Bitstamp. So Bitstamp's a little bit. Well, it depends on the graph, but there's your 2-hour period. And now let's take a look at, and they're all 2-hour periods, okay? And let's take a look at Mt. Gox. Wow, look at that. It's really taking a beating here. So what's going on with Mt. Gox? I don't know. So apparently there's this whole issue with the Orect exchanges about the excuse me, the whole attack on the exchange with regarding to I guess the withdrawal of the bitcoins here. So it's really holding a lot of liquidity out. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the 5 days. So it's still trending down on Mt. Gox. Weighted average has not really gone up above it. And then same thing with BitC. Well, I can't do. I'll do a 5-day, but what happens is that large spike down makes it look like that. But I don't know. I can't quite make out. So another thing to do is just take a 2-day and just make it a 1 hour hourly, and there you get a better view, but pretty much downtrend. 2 days. Well, that's about it. If I go back to the 5-day, it just does that. So at least I can take a better look of what it's doing here, and probably the same thing. It's downtrending. Okay, so we'll just put that back in auto. So it's pretty much downtrending, and then let me see Bitstamp, and let's update it. There we go, and yeah, same thing. It's kind of flat for the most part, and so there you go. There's the chart analysis, but let's go ahead and take a look at some of the news that's going on. And there's a lot of things that are happening here. And here you go. Cyber attack on Bitcoin, a big warning to currency users. Good article. So it looks like there's a cyber attack on at the someone's attacking the exchanges, I guess, or the whole network of Bitcoin. So halting all transactions here. Not all transactions, but mainly the exchange. Like I said, when I talked to my miner, basically was telling me, those things are easily fixable. They're not, you probably need to manually verify each withdrawal. I don't know how true that is, but he's not worried about it. It's causing a lot of problems for miners because they feel the price is undervalued, and well, if it's undervalued, they may not, release any coins to the market. So, which is very interesting because I'm seeing a strange phenomenon since some of the exchanges have basically shut down, or the halt of Bitcoin. And what you're seeing is um, a lot of the I've been basically trading at the exchanges because I haven't gotten any real world trades. But because of the halt with the withdrawals on the Bitcoin, I've all of a sudden I'm getting flooded with buy orders. Um, and so what's happening is since the exchanges have closed down, you're seeing a flood of real world trades out in the real world open market. And it's amazing. Now Bitsy's being the highest price, and that's kind of what I'm more or less charging. And people are charging, um, especially on localbitcoins.com, they're charging a lot more now. They're about like anywhere from $50 to $100 above Bitstamp price, and I guess they're being sold. Um, Somebody's selling them, so it's become hard to get Bitcoins, and the indices don't really reflect those prices. But if you go to localbitcoins.com, you'll see a lot of those prices are way higher than what you see at the exchange. So even though there's an attack on the exchanges themselves, peer-to-peer transactions have not really stopped. They've actually increased, in my opinion. So you're seeing a lot more real-world trades with real money being exchanged for, Bitcoins, and it's really crazy. So if you have Bitcoins in your possession, all right, it's worth gold, even more than gold, because there's a lot of people who are clamoring to get Bitcoins and they can't get them at the exchanges. So now they got to come out to the open market in the real world, and they got to put in a buy order and take real money to put into your bank account or whatever. And so that's what's happening here. I might cut in and out because I got a cold, a runny nose, so I may stop to blow my nose and all that, but I'll try to continue. Well, let me just cut out here and come back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. But here you go. Here's another headline: Bitcoin regulation coming this year. So they're definitely planning on some sort of regulation. Um, so I think the plan is that they're going to plan, they're going to regulate, they're going to come out with some guidance, maybe some new regulation specifically for virtual currencies. And once you see that, you're going to probably see Bitcoin exchanges in America, which would be awesome because then we wouldn't have to worry about Mt. Gox or Bitsy or Bitstamp, because you ever notice those major exchanges are not in America? So I wonder what the validity of the price of the U.S. dollar that you have in those exchanges. Are they valid? I've asked that question before because they're not in America. So there's that little symbol that says, U.S. dollars in your exchange account. Uh, is that even valid in a foreign country? Um, I don't know. Um, so I do uh, uh, ha have an account over at Coinbase, and I know that whatever price they offer, since they're in America, that's the price that they have to transact at. And they're the fact that they're in America and they're offering a face value for Bitcoin in fiat currency, if you transact in that, that's what they pay for. And so the fact that an exchange might be in America, maybe that U.S. dollar that you see, that electronic U.S. dollar that you see on your exchange, maybe that really is valid. You know, that's just a question I've been asking, is because if they're not in America and they're dealing in a foreign currency, is it a valid currency, or is it a valid number? I mean, is it real? Well, anyways, hopefully this gentleman here will help in that matter. Um, it's a nice suit, nice tie, really nice hair too. I mean, look at that hair, man. My goodness. I wonder if he had to comb his hair before this photo. I mean, look at him. Nice photo. Anyways, there's another headline. Let me go into another headline here, and this is alarming. You know, they're really cracking down on on Bitcoin users or software programmers and everything. I don't know what this is all about, but you know, New Jersey's getting on in the action, and so some MIT students here getting subpoenaed. Um, so you know, everyone out there, understand um, the ramifications of what you're doing as far as the legal stance. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't take a lot of work to spend half an hour of free consulting with a lawyer, or even some nonprofit groups on, you know, some of the things you're doing. You know, I think that would help a lot of people understand what they're getting into. All right. So I'm not going to get really into detail on this, but I thought that was an interesting headline because now they're targeting students, yeah, uh, for making software or whatever they're making. You know, I'm not I'm not that nerdy. Give me a computer and I could probably make $1 million off of that computer, but uh, tell me, you know, if you ask me to make a program for that computer, I'd probably tell you, well, I can't do that. But if someone made a program and I used it, um, you know, because I'm that good, I could probably make $1 million, you know, using the computer. But I couldn't make $1 million writing a program. Okay, that's just the way I am. And then last headline here is Bitcoin believers aren't really bothered by widespread glitches. Um, yes and no. If you ask me, I'm not bothered one bit. Not a single bit. You know who's freaking out? I'll tell you who's freaking out. Criminals are freaking out. All right. Um, Sometimes some of the miners are really freaking out. They really feel that, and I mean miners. I mean people who own mining rigs. Okay. They're harvesting, auto generating, those kind of miners. You know, the people who have the computers to support the whole network. Um, those miners are kind of freaking out because they're looking at, um, ever since the withdrawal, the halt on with withdrawals, especially of Bitcoin, um, they're noticing a surge in demand, but the price doesn't reflect that demand, because you know people can't go to the exchanges anymore. They're desperate to find, you know, um, somebody who can sell them Bitcoin. And if this doesn't get resolved soon, I mean, you're gonna see, you know, the exchanges, the exchange price, and the price that is being transacted out in the open market, out in Main Street and Wall Street. All right, are going to be two separate things now, and they're not going to reflect each other at all. Right now, Bitcoin is way undervalued, and they're artificially undervalued. If this glitch ever gets fixed, it's going to go gangbusters, because everyone's going to start loading back into the exchanges, and they're going to start trading again. I mean, these people who are stuck in the exchanges, there may be a chance for them to really get a good buying opportunity, because you know, look at the price of Mt. Gox, and they're still kicking around, right? That's an awesome price. I get a lot of inquiries about, you know, uh, what price I would go by if I was buying or selling or something like that. And I tell them, well, if you have an account at Mt. Gox, you can get a really good deal. Um, but of course, without the bitcoins, um, there's no point to it, right? Maybe. And then here's a Bitsy. Okay, this is their price right here. And then Bitstamp. I mean, these are really, really good prices. You know, uh, I use localbitcoins.com, and um, because of the transaction fees and everything, I have to charge more than the Bitstamp price, and people are buying them. You would think that they would, well, of course, if they can't withdraw from Bitstamp, they're not gonna. There's no point in going to Bitstamp, right? But there's some heavy demand because the price is so cheap. I've never had so many people just hit me up for bitcoins. Um, Go figure. And so so here you go. Yeah, Bitcoin believers aren't really bothered by widespread glitches because I think they are going to fix it. And as soon as they do fix it, everything will be back to normal operating. It's kind of interesting with all these attacks at the exchanges and just to muddy the whole network from operating. It's kind of interesting. So you got to ask yourself who could be doing this. I've already mentioned banks. I already mentioned could be the U.S. government. I mean, or an agency of the government. Whatever. Um, it could be a foreign government. After all, China and Russia banned, for the most part, banned Bitcoin. Russia basically came out and said, hey, Bitcoin is illegal in Russia. You cannot have a surrogate currency, period, at all. Um, could they be under? Could they be causing all this? Could China be causing? Because we all know that China has been doing a lot of cyber espionage. Wouldn't surprise me if Russia also did cyber espionage or cyber attacks. And then during the time of the whole WikiLeaks, that site was under attack, and you know most likely most likely a combination of U.S. and United Kingdom, I guess, UK, United Kingdomians. I don't know. What do you call yourselves now? Are you all British anymore, or what? Anyways, um, so something like this happening, and the disruptions in the service. Well, they're just gonna make it's just gonna make Bitcoin stronger, and I'm glad it's happening now than later. So this can be addressed and done with, and then we can continue. It's even if you did stop the exchanges or whatever, I mean, people are still gonna go peer to peer. That's happening right now. Um, Despite all the halts, people are still transacting in Bitcoin, and I can confirm that because I've never made so many trades, and I'm surprised. I'm literally, when I wake up, I have to wake up. I'm here on Central Time in Houston, so I get the best of both worlds. I get the East Coast and and the West Coast, and everything in between, and believe it or not, Alaska as well. I'll get Alaska. So I literally I'll get up around 7. I already got orders in localbitcoins.com, and it's amazing, and people are running to the bank to. I mean, literally, you talk about, when people say run on the bank, it usually mean people are taking out money out. In this particular case, the run on the bank is people are putting money into the bank so they can get bitcoins. It's amazing. Um, they feel it's really cheap, really valuable, and they can't get it through the exchange, so they're willing to pay a little bit extra more, or for some cases, for some people, a lot more, to get it from somebody who has a Bitcoin. And so I can confirm this. I'm a witness to this. And what's that's what's this is telling me that, um, despite this problem, the demand for Bitcoin is even higher. And so the price of what's at the exchanges are not even real. Really, the price of this thing is probably going to go up as soon as those exchanges open. You're going to see a massive spike in price. I think. All right. I mean, only time will tell. But from the demand I'm getting in the real world, I mean, what do you think that's going to, when say open those exchanges again, um, what do you think is going to happen? People are going to load those accounts with all those bitcoins, and they're going to start trading like crazy. Um, and you're going to see arbitrage like nothing you've ever seen before. Bitstamp, Bitsy, even maybe even Mt. Gox. I mean, they'll all be moving up, like, up and down independently, and people will be moving, bitcoins from this exchange to that exchange, or maybe all exchanges, because and probably even Coinbase. They'll probably have some reserve at Coinbase. Just to let you know, I mean, Coinbase was operational. You could send and receive your bitcoins over at Coinbase. I know I don't mention them as much because they're not really an exchange, but for people who really wanted you wanted that Bitcoin, Coinbase was still operational, not a problem with their wallet service, and I can confirm that because I've been testing the different exchanges to see what would work or not, and Coinbase is still operational. I would always, the thing about Coinbase is I always consider them as a last resort. Um, their pricing is um, ironically higher right now. It used to be, in between somewhere. Well, it always was over Bitstamp price, but um, it ranged between Bitstamp and Bitsy, and it was like outside, a little bit higher and a little bit lower than the higher and lower price of both Bitsy and Bitstamp. Never Mt. Gox price, but sometimes it would get close because of the spread on Mt. Gox, but for the most part, it's for me, it's a window of last resort to go to Coinbase. But I'm fortunate enough to know a few miners, and some are, you know, some have coins and some don't. But I have one in particular that um, does have a lot of, a mining pool that has a lot of coins. But the problem is they feel the price is undervalued, so they don't really want to sell it. Prices of what the indices are showing. They want to raise the price up a little bit, um, which I guess they can. If they got the coins, they can dictate the price. And now that the exchanges are pretty much ineffective, you're seeing how versatile Bitcoin is. It's just so independent that it's just come out from the exchanges and into the real world open market price discovery, literally. If you can, the Bitcoin's worth whatever someone is willing to pay for it. And so we're seeing this, and I always, I don't know why they even show a picture of this. I guess it's just to put a picture in, but this is coming out from your computer, and well, not really, but the transactions are coming out from the exchanges and into the real world. So if you wanted money, you can get it now, and you don't have to, screw around with the exchanges. You can actually get money into your bank account from the seller or the buyer or whatever, however it works. So the I don't know who was doing the attacks and who's behind all this, but what's happened is that they're forcing Bitcoin to come out into the real world, doing real trades with real people with real money. Okay, cold hard cash. I'm doing, for the most part, uh, uh, they all the transaction I've done has been a cash deposit into my bank account, and so um, that's I mean, people are literally running to the bank. There's a run on the bank, but it's not to take money out; it's to put money in my account, into my bank account, because uh, they really want the Bitcoin. Um, and so I'm looking at two different things. I'm looking at the real world, real price action, real transaction, real money being transacted, despite the exchanges being shut down. And it's I guess it's great for me because I'm taking advantage of this shortage of Bitcoin because they're all tied up at the exchange, and people want it. That's incredible. So you're seeing a phenomenon that Bitcoin's so versatile, despite all these glitches and everything, it's still kicking, it's still moving in the real world. And if this problem persists, I think a lot of people eventually just, understand the fact that they don't need the exchange, they just need other people to be a part of the real world physical network of peer-to-peer, all right, peer-to-peer exchange, peer-to-peer interaction. So, um, and if people don't have availability to the exchange, they're going to have availability with each other. And so that's just how versatile it is. You really can't stop it. And every time people try to stop it, it just brings, it just makes people want it even more. So whoever's doing this, you're not you're not you're not deterring anybody. And I can say that because I'm in it, and I'm seeing people run to me for Bitcoins. I mean, they're literally running to the bank, run onto the bank, not to take money out, but to put money in. Is that crazy? You know, I remember when they had the financial crisis, the the banks, people were running to the bank to take their money out. I don't know if some of you know that. Some of you were witness to this, and the banks had to close their doors. All right. Now, look at what Bitcoin has done. People are running to the bank to put money in. Well, in my bank account anyway. But it doesn't. Still, people are running to the bank to put money in. This is crazy. This is the total opposite effect of the financial crisis. The more you squeeze and you try to make it harder to get Bitcoin, the more people are going to get interested. The more the hard people who might have been just casual traders, they're just going to become more heavy traders. It's not having the effect that you desire. Whoever's doing it, Russia, China, America, bunch of nerds, scammers, hackers, I don't know, criminals. So, anyways, I think I talked long enough. I'll end it with a little bit of, I guess, a little bit more chart analysis here. So, uh, it, when would be a great time to buy? Well, it's always a great time to buy, in my opinion. But for some people who trade and they, you want some good, maybe a good strategy, I guess, is so far it's this top line's obviously downtrending, but from what I'm seeing the price action, it looks like the price is pretty much kind of been leveling and bouncing off of this area right here. So that's kind of what it's been doing, like, you know. So based on that, and you can't, unfortunately, you can't use. I don't know if you can use this. Um, it's just too wild. I have to ignore that. But somewhere around this price level is probably a really good purchase if you put a limit order. Excuse me. And if you notice, if you just put a line, or if you put your crosshairs right here, look at that. It's another triangle. So, well, as this thing goes out, we'll see how far it bounces in here, and then it's got to do one or two things. It's got to break out, or it's going to break down. And so, considering that it pretty much broke down, I don't know how many more. Well, I guess there's always people who want to sell, but at some point, the real world markets have said this is very cheap. I'm buying this, and I'm buying as much as I can. So once these exchanges return to withdrawing their Bitcoin again, you're gonna, and it's gonna, as soon as it breaks out of this trend, you're gonna see this, go back up. I mean, I think that's what's gonna happen. Just on what I've seen in the real world, on what people are doing. Literally, they are, every time I put some Bitcoins into localbitcoin.com, there's somebody immediately making a buy order for it. And literally, they're running to the bank and making deposits, and they really are looking for those coins, those Bitcoins. And so, okay, that's kind of what I. Well, anyways, I think I talked long enough, and basically, this is a Bitstamp, so this is a good support area, and if it breaks down, then it's probably more downward pressure. But for the most part, I think all these sellers are exhausted, and everyone's on a hold pattern. They're gonna wait until the withdrawals issue has been fixed, and as soon as that happens, it's probably gonna break out and it's just, to infinity, right? So that's Bitstamp. Let's look at Bitsy. Same thing. I mean, for the most part, same thing. But when we get to Mt. Gox, I mean, man, that price looks really, really good. I mean, I am so tempted to just put everything I have in at that price. It's just awesome. But then again, I don't know if Mt. Gox will ever come back. That's the only risk I'm taking. But maybe I'll buy one. I mean, if it goes back up to 1,000, that's $500. Maybe I'll buy two. That'd be $1,000, right? So, anyways, that concludes this episode. Please feel free to like, and let me just go to Bitstamp now, because Bitstamp's the highest price of the three major indices. And so, like, dislike, or leave a comment. Also, you can do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.